I had this sort of epiphany about Instagram the other day where I realized that I was using it all wrong. So I was looking at Graphic.Cal. He's an artist, photo artist, who I discovered the other day through an account that I follow. And his work, I love it. It's fantastic. But I noticed that in the comments, he was responding to every single person that gave him praise. Um, and it just seemed so wholesome, so nice that he was just like, "Thank you so much," to like, and for like 50 of these per post, you know. And I was like, "This is it. Like, this is how you're supposed to use Instagram. Is like for an artist, at least, you know, that." You engage with the people that love your work, and you go out and you find people whose work you love and you engage with them. And it's like, this seems pretty obvious, right? But, you know, rather than trying to be all like markety about it, I I think that just this holistic approach to like, let me go find some art that I like and talk to these other artists, and that's what I want to be using this platform for. It's just kind of like what it was like, I don't know, whenever Instagram started, or at least like many years ago. I feel like kind of need to get that back. And, because that's something I can get excited about using it for, is like getting inspired, and meeting people. I have friends that I made on Instagram years ago, that I'm still friends with to this day. And I'm looking at you, Errol and Tia. And, that could still happen, and it could still happen with other social media platforms. But I feel like they're so inundated with ads and marketing and, nonsense bullshit memes that it's easy to get caught up in that and, like, use it as a source of entertainment rather than the tool that it could be for growth. And I don't want that anymore. Like, I don't want to be entertained by dumb memes on it. Like, I want to grow my photography. I want people to see my work, and I want to share beautiful work with people, and I want to be seeing work that inspires me. And I'm really serious about that right now. So I went on this wild purge of like, so this is Inist Oil is like my main Instagram account. And you might follow some of my other ones. And Nicholas Doyle _ is my architecture photography account. And then Inist Oil Food is my food photography account. And I decided I have like a personal account that I haven't used in like years. And I'm going to boot that back up. And everybody that I like know personally, who, isn't an artist, who like, does the kind of dark, gloomy art that I'm really into, I'm not gonna, like, I unfollow you here, but I'll follow you guys, the people that my friends and family, the folks I love. I'm gonna start using that account, the Nicholas Doyle, again. So if I used to follow you on this account, and you notice that I just unfollowed you because I unfollowed like 100 people, and I'm gonna keep going ruthlessly of curating who I follow on this account. You can go check me out on the private account. And if you're here, my plan for this account is to spend a lot more time talking about photography and showcasing the art that I like to make, which is, there's some of it in the feed right now, and it tends to be this sort of like dark and gloomy, like cyberpunk look. Not always, but it's something that I'm really drawn to. I really love night, and it occurred to me, I think that growing up playing Final Fantasy VII was a really big factor here, and something that caused me to go in this direction with my photography. Like, I love, like, there's a building right over here that's dark and just a couple of lights shining through the window, because it's like pre-sunrise right now, and I love it, and I want to shoot so much more of that, and I want to show it, and I want to make prints and sell those prints, and I want to make books, and like, I want to get my photography out there, not just on the screen, but in the magic of photography. The thing that photography can do that video cannot do is exist in the real world as something you can touch. Like, we don't have the Harry Potter technology to have like, a magazine with a moving picture on it, like, and it's going to be a long time before that happens. But a print, you can hold, you can touch, you can see it in the real world, and it reflects light rather than sending out light. So there's a different look to it, and like there always will be, because of that nature of how the light interacts with it. And the same with a book. Like a book, you can feel the textures and you can turn the pages, and it's pleasant and visceral, and it is the antithesis of this life that we live poking a piece of glass. Like, this goes back to iPhone photography. Like, the iPhone camera is amazing for a camera that you have in your pocket all the time, right? But it pales in comparison to any real camera. And every photo I take with it, I am disappointed, and I wish that I had pulled out my real camera for. And the shooting experience on the iPhone is so inferior to holding a real camera that, like, I don't enjoy it. I'm not going to go out on a photo shoot and be like, I'm just going to take my iPhone. Like, I won't have as much fun as if I'm holding a real camera where you can, like, single task. You can get absorbed in a single thing that you're doing. And, this year, I am diving deeper into renewing building my photography career. It's been several years that I've been basically a stay-at-home dad, where, we had my son in 2020, and I needed to stay home with him for a lot of that because we couldn't get childcare for him in the Hudson Valley. And then we moved to Jersey, where we were able to get childcare for him, and that's awesome. But then we decided to have another kid, and now she's here, and she's wonderful and great and pretty and cute, and so happy that I kind of like pulled back from working for the past couple of years in order to create this family. And she's still young, and there's still a lot of work to do, but I'm ready now to get back to building my photography career. And I've thought about what I want to do with it and what direction I want to go. And I'm still going to do my architecture and interiors and that client work, and I would still like to do some food client work, though rather than shooting restaurants, I'm hoping to do more stuff like I did for Convene, which is more of the lifestyle-y food photography. Like, some of my favorite projects that I've ever done are the Convene projects and the real estate architecture shoot of the Jefferson. And the reason I love those projects so much is because I wasn't alone. I was like the captain of the ship, where it was an actual production where on the Jefferson I had a producer, I had 2 assistants, I had models, there was a stylist, there was it was a huge project, and there were a lot of moving pieces, and it was fun to be like the person that was in charge of all of that. And with Convene, there was a producer, there was somebody that negotiated for me so that I didn't have to handle that stuff, which is kind of nice. Thanks, Hal. And had assistants and stylist, food stylist, prop stylist. It's a lot of fun. It's really great working with a team. I've always said this, that I think that because I grew up with brothers and I was always doing something with some of them, that's my default state, is I want to be doing something with someone. I don't want to be alone. And unfortunately, a lot of the current style of photography that I do is totally alone. It's just me in the space alone with my camera. And sometimes as an assistant and sometimes a stylist when there's the budget for it, but some of these projects don't have that. But it's not as fun, and I don't think it's ever going to lead to work that's as great as when I'm collaborating with someone, because of who I am, of how I want to bounce ideas off of some people. My assistants have said that they love working with me because I'm not like a dictator. I'm more like hey, what do you think about this? Do you got some ideas or feedback on this image? What should we do here? And I love that it's this thing that we do together and not a thing that I do alone. And so I'm going to be looking to do a lot more of that with my client work this year. And so that's on that side. And then on the art side, I want to get a lot more serious about making this a huge part of my life and part of my business, where for a long time I felt very self-conscious about my art, and I'm like, nobody's gonna buy this. I'm like, nobody gives a shit about your artwork. But that's just like defeatist self-talk, right? I've sold prints before, and like, why do I believe that I couldn't do it again, right? Like, not a lot, but the main one that sticks out to me is like, I've sold a couple of prints to people that I know, or like one friend that I had on Instagram who really liked a photo that I posted. But years ago, there's a little bar in Ridgewood called Julia's. It's owned by Crystal, so thanks Crystal for this. That wanted to have a little gallery show and wanted me to print some photos and put them up in there. And I think I printed like 3 photos, and there were 2 other artists that photographers that were there who also displayed work. And of those 3 photos, one of them sold. And I was great. It felt really good. I made money. I had no interaction with the person who bought it because they just like were in there one day and saw it and liked it. And it's like, why would I think that couldn't happen again? You know, like, sure, it was 1 out of 3, but it's not 0, right? And it was like the one show that I ever did. And so I was like, maybe I should be doing more photo shows, you know? I should have my work on display in more places. And there's a thing that Moyes said to me once, which is, what does the photo want? It's the photo wants to be seen. And if you're not letting the photo be seen, like, you're hurting it, you know? Like, it deserves better than that. This isn't the part he said, but this is where I'm going with it. Like, Marie Kondo talks about how every object has a spirit, right? Like, you got the spirit of the water bottle. And you gotta love on that, you know? You gotta appreciate it for what it brings to your life and the things that it does for you. And the photo, and you have to let it go when it's done. So that's her big thing, is like, you know, you got this piece of clothing that you wore or you never wore, and it's performed its function in your life, and it's time for you to let it go. And the spirit of the object is being like crushed by its isolation of you just like leaving it in a drawer for 20 years. Like, it's wrong. And I think it's the same for the photo. Like, I believe the images have this spirit and they have something to give. And it's not fair for you to not let them do that. It's, you know, it's wrong for you to have this thing that is beautiful and wonderful, that can bring joy and magic to the world, and not to share it is a fucking crime. So, you know, with that in mind, I've got a lot more sharing of my work to do. So, on the subject of prints, I have one that I've been going back and forth on putting out, and that is the print of the Ashokan Reservoir, which was really popular when I posted it, and looks like it would make a really beautiful print. And I printed a little 4x6 of it, which I wasn't totally in love with, and that's why I kind of like backed off from it. So that building is really beautiful. My plan is to go back and tweak it a little bit and try printing it some different ways, maybe on different paper, and see where I can get it to something that I really love. And I'm going to catalog that journey, and that's going to be part of like leading up to the launch of that print. And I also thought, like, well, maybe I need to have a collection, and I need to like put this next to a bunch of other Hudson Valley prints, but I didn't have any at the top of my mind. And like, I think I'm complicating the mission by being like, oh, you got to add all these extra things before like you can feel like you're ready to put this out there. And fuck that. I got one piece. It's beautiful. Somebody's gonna love it on their wall. It's going out there, and that's what I want to do next. I'm going to New York City right now. I don't generally drive to New York City. I always take the train because I don't want to be on 95 for 2 hours. But it's like 6 a.m, so it's not too bad. It's not like bumper to bumper traffic, and I hope there won't be, but I'm sure once I get to the golf balls, there will be. The Goethals Bridge. I like to call it the golf balls. Anyway, the Hudson Valley print, I also went back and forth on putting that out because like it doesn't quite suit where my photography is going now which is, like I've said, the dark and moody cyberpunk stuff, and the my like transit series. A lot of those images are like, reserved and quiet and moody. But the reservoir photo does have that quietness to it, and so it's not like it's not my style. It's just a little different. And I've got like Hawaii prints or other things that I think like somebody would definitely want to have hanging in their house. Maybe, people that have a connection to Hawaii. But some of those are really bright and colorful, and it is kind of the antithesis of what my work is like these days. But that's Hawaii, that's kind of what you expect from it. And so that's another collection that I could pull from. And so, and I might have other photos from around the Hudson Valley that I like, but I don't know if any of them are quite as magical as that Ashokan Reservoir photo. But I don't need to complicate it by adding all of these, like, well, before you do this, you have to do 50 other things. Like, focusing on producing the print of the reservoir is a great place to start, and that's what I am going to do. I'm going to stop hemming and hawing over this, and we're going to get that print out there. And so maybe somebody buys it and maybe they don't, but the fact that I get it out there is the mission. It's doing the thing, right? Oh, so I'm going to New York City to get a printer. So big thank you to Moise, who has been like a patron of my art for years. It supports me in so many ways. And he bought like an Epson P900 or whatever, like, I don't know, in 2016, 2017 or something, and kind of stopped using it. It became just like the printer that the real estate office used to print like a photo of a listing. And that's like, that goes back to the spirit of the thing, and that is like, that's not what it's for, right? Like, this is a thing for producing art, and like, it's like, I guess I'll sit here and do some shitty work like a lot of artists. And I'm going to save it from that tortured existence. So I'm going to go pick this thing up, and I'm going to take it to what is becoming my art studio, and we're going to breathe some new life into this printer. And I am going to make some prints that are going to bring some beauty and joy to the world. But it does have a maximum print size, and for these reservoir prints, I want them to be larger. I love a huge print. Troy House is a photographer that I know of. I don't know if House is his last name, but that's just the name of his studio, who prints massive prints. And I saw him at the like Architectural Digest design show, and he mostly prints photos of like Greece and like beach scenes in Santorini and I don't know exactly where, but the stuff is beautiful and dense with stuff. And you show that photo on Instagram, and it's like it's this big, I can't really make anything out. But when you see it, like, I don't know how big, 50, 70 feet wide, all of those details are just like, this is great. This is wonderful to look at. And I can't be the only person that wants huge photos, But I understand that some people don't have the space for that and don't have a place to display some massive image. And it's kind of unfair to somebody who loves one of my prints that can't like afford a print that big, or the space to house it in, or frame that big, which is going to be wildly expensive. But I want that person that wants that to have the option to have it, because that's what I want it to be. I want it to be massive. But for the people that only have a little bit of space on their walls, I want them to be able to have some of my work too. So that's where it comes into like, okay, well, what sizes do I make, and how do I price those? And I don't know. I'm just starting out here, but I know that. And there's also the question of like limited editions. Like, how do I want to do those? Where there's more cachet in something that has a limited quantity, but And I'm probably going to do that. Like, I don't think any of my photos I'm going to do unlimited runs of. I think it's kind of nice. There's a Bobby Hundreds. All of his, streetwear and stuff is limited edition. And it's just like, oh, look, we're going to make X of these, and then we're never, ever going to make them again. So, like, get it now or forget it. And I kind of like that. It sounds kind of good. And I'm leaning towards printing everything on cotton rag instead of, so for me, if I'm going to print it at home, it will definitely be on cotton rag. It's like a kind of thick paper that's made out of cotton that like really absorbs ink and has these like deep, rich, beautiful colors. And it's what I think like a piece of fine art should be printed on. And then there's chromiographic prints, which is just like a photo print, like a little better than you get at Walgreens, but kind of similar. And like, I don't think I really want to sell those. Like, I could, but I know that it's not as beautiful and lustrous as, printing on this thicker paper. But the cotton rag stuff, it's expensive, and that method of printing is expensive. But that's the way that I want my art to be presented, and like I want it to be this incredible experience to view. And the C prints capture a decent bit of that, but not all of it. And so like I'm going back and forth on like, do I have like one section that's C prints that's cheaper for somebody that all they've got is X dollars to spend on it, and then everything else is the photo rag prints for somebody who like really wants an intense piece of art. And one other thing that I thought about is having like a collector's edition, which would be like the highest, the largest print, and only having like 10 of those, and partnering those with an NFT token, so that like that the NFT is the like certificate of authenticity for that piece of art, like forever. And it's weird to think about like myself as an artist whose like work will continue to exist for a long time after I'm gone, and that like that people, collectors and curators, could like be like, oh, Nicholas Doyle's art is like important and worth a lot of money or something, and that like people trade this art piece. And maybe it happens. I'd like for it to happen, but I have to be willing to let it happen for it to happen again, right? And anyway, the NFT is the best system for that, because it is the best system for verified ownership. And of all the like wacky crypto stuff that happened, using it as verification of a singular piece of art is kind of the best thing that it can do. And so I am pretty serious about doing that with at least the collector's editions ones, and maybe the smaller ones too. I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to know your thoughts. If you're somebody who's interested in collecting art or just loves a nice photograph, like, hit me up and let me know if you want to get on. Oh, so I'm going to start a mailing list for the prints. And that's the place where I'm going to launch each new print. I'm going to do them one at a time. Generally, the plan is to do like a 2-week lead up. Like, hey, this print's going to drop in 2 weeks. There's going to be these many of them. That's going to be it forever. So buy them or miss out on them. And so if you're interested in that, and if you watched this all the way to the end, like, thank you very much. I shot it in portrait because I was planning to put it on Instagram, and now I've run it for been talking for 25 minutes. If you're still here, I love you, and thank you for being here and being a part of this with me. And let me know which photos you've seen of mine that you think you or someone might love to have on their wall, or you'd like to have a little, like a photo book of. I want to get more involved with. I want to hear more from you. I want to talk to you. Like I said, I don't want to do this alone. I need some people. I need a connection, and I want to talk to you. So Leave a comment, give me a call if you got my number, text me. Go grab some photos and be like, hey, I think this one would be great. And I don't know that I'm going to put a newsletter sign up right here. Should, right? Okay, I guess I'll throw a newsletter sign up link somewhere here, and that will be the newsletter for photo prints going forward. And so, like, if you want to hear what new print is coming and get discount codes and, you know, be the first to get access to that stuff and maybe get a free print in the, you know, the process, hit the sign up and come along with me on this journey. And tell a friend. Tell everyone you know who has any interest in photography or art, or, you know, I guess those are it, photography and art, and prints, photo books. I would get everybody you know and get them here and have them follow NS Doyle on Instagram. And I'm going to, like, use TikTok, too. I like TikTok. I'm going to get back to the Instagram section that I started this video about. And I'm probably going to need to break this up and make a separate video about it. But I want to use TikTok more. I really like it as a platform. But I haven't gone on there and curated the... Oh, I might need to turn up here. Exit 13. Okay. I haven't gone on TikTok and curated the feeds that I follow. So every time that I open it, it's just this assault of stupid shit that I don't care about. And so it's kind of hard to open it because I know what I'm getting into when I open it. So I don't very much, unless I go on and I post something and I get out. And I'd like to use it more. So if you use TikTok and you follow some, like, great photography or art accounts, let me know, and I'd like to give those a follow. And so that's enough for right now. Almost 30 minutes of chit-chatting, and now I'm getting to the part of the drive that's involving some turns, so I need to start paying more attention. I'm in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is the absolute worst. The absolute worst part of New Jersey. It smells like shit, thanks to all these refineries, which you're not going to get to see. But this is why people think New Jersey sucks. And understandable. But don't move to Elizabeth. If you come to New Jersey, live somewhere nice and green. All right. Thank you very much for watching, being here with me, being a part of this, supporting me, and believing in me. I had a friend I was telling about my, like, insecurities about this, and he was like, quit that bullshit. He was like, get that devil off your shoulder and go make more great work. And I was like, oh, man, thanks. And so that's what I'm going to do. See you later. Bye.